Okay, I think I got this right. I gotta change monitors from time to time, and I'm learning OBS as well. I'm trying to get my screens and all this stuff to work correctly. I realize that my previous recordings I'm using a little bit more of a wider monitor on most of the other recordings. So I kind of go back and forth between that one and this one. That said, thanks for bearing with the change in the display, but I'm working on it, and I'm trying to better understand how to get the aspect ratios right for YouTube and whatnot. So, yeah. So, I've got tests working. We've got got implemented the closed ledger functionality as well as the modify memo instruction, and I feel pretty good about the tests at this point. A couple of ideas that kind of come to mind is maybe getting NFTs involved somehow, perhaps on the ledger. Like each ledger is going to be kind of like an account that I'm keeping track of, like for my kids, or something like that. But it'd be kind of cool, I think, to get into adding some NFTs in there somewhere, maybe as like creating like a separate profile which has like a ledger, or maybe attaching some sort of NFT to a ledger, that kind of thing. I think it'd be kind of fun. One idea that comes to mind is like my kids always are drawing, making kind of just drawing. They're drawing anything, and they play a game on Roblox or whatever, and they want to learn how to draw the characters or some school art project. I think it'd be kind of cool to convert that into an NFT, and attach it to their ledger or something like that. So we'll see. But where I'm at now is I want to kind of show you a little bit. You've probably seen up to this point a little bit of some of the front end that have been working on, and or that you've seen some bits of it. So what I have here is I have kind of this growing project where I have many programs that I'm kind of building into this, using Anchor and Anchor New and stuff like that. And so each individual program, after you build and deploy it, you get your own target and IDL for each of them. So pretty cool. It's just fun for me to experiment with Anchor and learn SvelteKit as well. So what's kind of neat though is that I honestly didn't learn how to do this on my own by any means. This is I'm learning Svelte, I'm learning SvelteKit, I'm learning Anchor, I'm learning all this stuff. I'm learning OBS, always learning. There's a lot out there. But what made this possible is that I'm more comfortable with using Svelte. I tend to like its style and its in simplicity versus something like React. And when you look at like everything for Solana, naturally there's just a bunch of stuff built in React that's already ready. I am not good with React. It's a little, I'm trying to like learn one and just stick with it. And Svelte seems to be really good for me, at least. So this wallet adapter, like how do you get, you start building your front end, you need to be, one of the first things you need to do is be able to connect to a wallet provider. And in this case, I'm using Anchor. Not Anchor. I have a Phantom wallet and I have a Soulflare wallet. But this project, so like there's a core wallet adapter library, and then there's like a UI wallet adapter library, and so this guy Sylvester and other contributors have built kind of like a wrapper around the core wallet adapter library or package, and made it kind of specific for Svelte, and even there's another package using Anchor. They have a another kind of Scaffold app that's already got SvelteKit integrated with this. The problem is that it's they haven't updated it to Svelte 1.0, so I started with that, but they haven't made updates to it. And to make updates to it, I ultimately just decided, you know what, scrap. I'm just gonna slowly but surely copy over and make the migration myself using a fresh SvelteKit 1.0 and Anchor 26 init. So that's what I've been working on and working with, is like the latest and greatest. That said, this library, Svelte on Solana wallet adapter, that's what enables me to use and connect the wallet. One of the things with this, though, because of the upgrade in Anchor and in SvelteKit, I'm only really using the core and the UI, and you have to go through the instructions. The Anchor part says, okay, you need to do those other two first, the core and the UI packages, and then you need to make some configurations. But this is all kind of based off of older SvelteKit, and SvelteKit 1.0 had some big breaking changes, and so I could not really get all three, this Anchor connection provider, I couldn't get it to work by just using this package. So for my project, I ended up having to use just the first two, the core and the UI, and then the components. I basically copied the code that was built for this Anchor one, and kind of made it and brought it over into my own local project. Now, I know ideally it would be kind of cool to contribute and help them out with like these new changes. So I have a starter template going that's kind of trying to bring in Anchor, the new SvelteKit, and Skeleton, and I'll have links to that, and I'm going to try to share it with them. Haven't really done anything like this, contributing to open source stuff, but anyway, it's this, I couldn't have gotten started doing all this in the front end without something like this, the wallet adapter package, and these guys are great because they've made one specific for Svelte, which has been great. So I brought in, let me show you so the big one for Anchor is that they basically created a whole component, a whole store, or this component is this Anchor connection provider, and with it there's they have a workspace store and a wallet store. I'm able to see you can see that I'm using the adapter core library for that, but then for the Anchor workspace in this connection, I had to basically kind of mimic them or copy them here locally. And so I have this store, these three, balance store, notification store, and this workspace store. This is basically copied straight from these guys. So many thanks to them on how that worked. But again, I just couldn't, with the new SvelteKit 1.0, I wasn't able to get this to work. I couldn't get it to install correctly, so I ended up just having to scrap it and start fresh. And do it this way. But ultimately, what we get out of this is you have an exported SvelteKit store type workspace, and there you go. And it's using some of these, these things. So let's see. Now, this is the component. I have a little note to myself. I couldn't get the package to work, so went ahead and just did my own little tweak to it. And it has some functions and stuff, and I really didn't touch this much. I think I had to fix a couple of type mismatches. I think there was a new, maybe some deprecated functions or whatnot, but more or less this is it. This is the component. And then here is the slot. And in this component, we're taking our workspace, the workspace store, and using it along with others things to really basically replicate the whole anchor provider on the front end, which is great because Anchor does that for us in our tests here. So this is how I've been able to, right here, it's all Anchor that allows us to do this anchor provider and grabbing like the environment and so building this provider for us, and then that allows us to access really cool things like this Anchor workspace, and it's all nicely tied with our IDL. But this is for the testing. When you bring it over to the front end, like outside of the testing, and you bring it to the front, say with SvelteKit, there is no Anchor workspace. There is no Anchor provider like that. But I thought I love working with Anchor, and so do these guys apparently. And the fact that Anchor does a lot of this, all the sorry about that, all the IDL auto generation and stuff. It just seems like something that should be available in the front. So yeah, that's basically kind of a quick little overview of like I'm basically leveraging this Anchor connection provider and along with the Anchor workspace store, thanks to the work that these guys have done. And what that enables me to do is let me find the layout. So what that allows me to do back here is have kind of like this little template. So I've connected, this is the wallet adapter right here. I don't know how to style it, custom style it really. So it's not ideal, but I'm using Skeleton, and Skeleton has gold, Nouveau, or whatever, some sort of theme that has a kind of purple and yellow gold. So I kind of went with that as it kind of works out. But that's one thing, the wallet adapter UI, the styling is, I'm not sure how to kind of custom style it. So just left it as is. So that said, like here it is. I can airdrop. This is really cool. They had a custom notification store, but Skeleton has a lot of like built-in things for me using list cards, utilities. They have toast tooltips, these kind of things. Super handy. And so you can just kind of bring them directly in, modals and whatnot. So I find myself being able to like replace some of this stuff with their built-in this toolkit. So Skeleton, man, these guys are awesome, and it's really cool like watching, just seeing like how, they're using Svelte in the way that I would love to be able to someday. And so learning from them, just looking at how they build their components to make all this work, and how they use like custom named slots and props and yada yada yada. So super fun for me to learn from, and I've been able to simplify some of the components just by bringing in what they have on offer out of the box. So super cool. What we have here is I've deployed. So if we look at my, I do Anchor, well, actually no, better is Solana program show programs. You have like, these are all the program IDs and the authority, like these are all the programs that are currently ongoing right now in the local test Solana test validator. So what that does is that it means like in Anchor or in SvelteKit, I've got some routes. So if I click on basics, it will, I need to probably hard reload this. Reconnect, make sure that this is working. Go to basics, yeah. So you have a basics route, and then if I click on ledger, this is kind of my old original ledger that I've been talking about. Have not implemented anything of the new changes. The voting, so I have this is a whole different program, and the escrow is a whole nother program. I plan on like building some videos on how I did these, but again, I'm just using Skeleton's UI and experiment with some of this stuff, so there's not a lot of consistency into it, but yeah, it's been fun. But to make what's cool about this is that as I am swapping routes, going to really like completely different Solana programs. So again, here are my different programs. These are completely different programs, different program IDs, different IDLs and all that. And what's really cool about this Anchor connection provider is that thanks to that fabulous team, the way that they built it up is it takes a couple of props, the network and the IDL of the program. So when I go to, this is my ledger layout. If I go to ledger, this is a ledger route. What that does is behind the scenes on the layout, it's connecting and resetting this Anchor connection provider. And then it has, this is the actual page with, that you see more or less here. Super cool because it allows me to just quickly swap between. So if I go to say like my voting app, if I do the voting, layout, here it is again, but the IDL is pointing to the voting IDL. So super cool. It just basically allows me to quickly leverage the Anchor auto-generated IDL and brings over all the kind of the typing and stuff. So it's kind of in a way between that and SvelteKit. There's this, it does a lot of great typing for me, all the way back to the struct account, shapes and such, to the front end. So when I'm working in here, I now have access to the kind of the set Anchor, program workspace object, which then just enables all kinds of great stuff where, it's a store. I can access the provider, it gives me the typing assistance, the connection, and helpful. Method signatures, like it's just it's been a real joy to use. So yeah. Anyway, that's a little bit of a long-winded introduction, but again, I could not do this without the work from the wallet adapter team for the core stuff, and then these guys. I've asked some questions and how to do some things, and they, this approach of swapping out the IDL, pointing it to a different JSON file, seems to be how they would kind of approach it too, and it's been working really well. So that's that. All right, so thought it'd be kind of worth a while seeing what the original ledger program could do. So I've swapped out the IDL to point to the old one, and here we are using the layout to set ultimately I set the anchor connection provider, and with the matching network and IDL. There are a couple of things that that I've learned over time that I need some Svelte reactives to do certain things. So like if the wallet is ready for fetch and has a workspace program ready, then we're good to go. And then sometimes in other programs I can do some new stuff at this point. My goal with this is to really take advantage of SvelteKit 1.0's new stuff. I want to try form actions. Huntabyte guy, the YouTube channel, super awesome, and others are really introducing some cool stuff with these new features. I'd like to. I was on the Svelte Discord asking around like what's the best scenario on fetching kind of this on-chain data. In my other programs, I've really done a lot with manually tracking and kind of keeping up with stores. And I love stores. I've got some custom stores, and they're super awesome. But it gets a little clunky. And so being able to take advantage of the new server routes and the layout.server in particular was kind of recommended that I use that. So we're going to experiment and fail and fumble along. But first, I wanted to show, like, this is kind of I was just experimenting with Skeleton mostly, but this is, at first, it's like just a very, very basic ledger program. So to create a ledger, the ledger account is saved inside of a PDA. This was the old original program, and has some C's to later fetch. So it's not fully working on the front, but if I do like blue and I hit create ledger, I've connected my wallet, you see, and I've got some SOL. So if I approve, yay, ledger account created. Obviously I need to kind of clear out some stuff, modify the ledger. Let me see if I do inspect. If we go to, surely I'm printing out some stuff. But like for this case, like to modify, let's see, do I show like, it's been a while, but basically like say the default balance that I think is just like 0. Say I come in here and I type in 15 and the ledger is, the color is blue. So I'm kind of, for this particular one, I'm just doing a modify ledger, a very basic, changing it. And then now what I've got here in my logs is like updated wallet, blah, blah, blah. Our PDA has a ledger account with data and it's showing like color is blue and the balance is 15. Successfully modified ledger account. So that's just a simple modifying the PDA. And if I come in here and I do, maybe the new balance is 5, hit okay, this is another transaction. And sure enough, you may not see, but let me see if I zoom in a bit. Yeah, that didn't work. It's showing now it's 5, so it's the most basic thing. I then later learned how to do the custom instructions, and that was something I was considering using the first time around for this updated program, but then I later decided to make them just separate instruction arguments, you may recall. But this is kind of cool. It's allows me to kind of choose a custom operation, and let's say I'll add 25. And this is still modifying it. Color is blue. It's using the connected wallet plus the name as the seeds for the PDA. We find it and we modify it, and here it's showing, yeah, you've modified it, and now the account is blue. This is nothing. This was just static. I never built this out. But so that's what it does. And then you would be able to fetch an account, and I could have later displayed it using the color and the seed. I could reword this, but it's actually just the wallet, the connected wallet address. So that was it. Very, very basic. I want to redo this with our new changes. And so, there's a couple of things I've already worked on, like this voting. You kind of create a poll. Well, the first thing for our users is we're going to have to create a ledger, and it's going to be the name and stuff. I'd like to check out form actions and stuff like that. It may be completely overkill, but I think it'd be fun to try. And then after they create the account, we would display them below, and be able to view ledgers, and I'm thinking we'll do a dynamic route to ledger / and then it will be kind of the PDA address of the actual ledger, which will then, we'll work on displaying some of the all the entries that we make. So it's kind of where we're going. I just wanted to show you, though, this is how it's currently set up, and what we're going to be exploring. So.